The following segment is sponsored by the Regional Water Providers Consortium.
Thanks for watching Afternoon Live. Well, from our summer heat wave to the weekend tornado in Sandy, it's time to ask yourself the question, am I truly prepared in the event of an emergency? Well, Carrie Williamson spoke with an expert that will help you answer that question.
It is the one thing we truly cannot live without, and that is water. I am here today with Bonnie Cushman of the Regional Water Providers Consortium, and in an emergency, we really do need to be prepared.
Yes, we do. And you know, the recent wildfires, the winter storms from last year, even the power shutoffs from this summer are great reminders that we need to have water and other things on hand.
Yes, and we take it for granted here in the Northwest because it rains so much, but really we do need to have our own water stored.
Right, yeah, because there may be a time, like a big earthquake, for example, where we may not have water service for, you know, even a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so let's take a look at how much water we actually do need to have stored, because it's quite a bit.
It is. So we recommend 1 gallon per person per day for 14 days. So this is a 2-gallon container. And you have options.
Yes.
So you just really want to make sure that you have a sturdy container if at all possible.
Okay.
Or if you purchase things from the store, that you put them in another container so that they don't damage your
Because you're worried
home.
about that cracking or breaking at some point. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And this is a humongous drum. Tell me about this.
Yeah, so if you have a garage, for example, like I do, I have 2 of these in my garage, that can be enough water for 4 people for the 14 days.
So take a look at that. That is a lot of water, but that's what you say we really should have on hand. That's important to note.
Yes, and it's 450 pounds, so if you're going to do that, put it where you're going to store it.
You are not going to be moving that.
No.
Yes.
But if you live in an apartment, for example, you're going to need to get creative and find ways to store water that makes sense for your space.
And then what about storing it yourself in your own containers versus buying a container already done at the store?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can buy bottled water, either something like this or a gallon jug. Those you just want to use best by dates as far as when to switch them out.
Okay.
And then if you use your own container, you want to just make sure that you can lift it once it's full.
Okay.
And you're going to be the best determinant of like what's actually going to fit into your space at that time.
Now, can I empty out an old soda container or a milk jug and fill that up with water, or is that not a good idea?
So yes to the soda container. Those are nice and sturdy, and they are slim and will fit into any space. Milk jugs and juice containers you want to stay away from because they have things that make them really hard to clean. So stay away from those.
You're worried about bacteria growing in the water. Okay.
Yep.
And then if I do fill up my own soda pop container, how often do I need to refill that? I mean, is it good for years on your shelf?
So water doesn't go bad, but we recommend changing out your water every 6 months in your own container.
Okay, so ideally we will have our own water stored, but there's other sources of water and liquids that we should know about.
Yeah, so in your home you'll have things like canned goods, juices, you could drink those.
Yes.
And then ice cube containers. And then if you have a water heater, you can actually use that water. There's 30 to 80 gallons of water stored in your home already.
And that's not the first thing you would think of probably. That's smart.
Right.
Yes. Okay, you always have that available. Okay, and then if you have water but you're not quite sure of the safety of it, what should you do to sanitize it?
So we always recommend if you have any concerns, treat your water before you use it.
Okay.
So you can boil it. So you want to have some way to either build a fire or boil it on a stove.
Okay.
You can use bleach, household liquid chlorine bleach, and this is what we recommend regardless because it's inexpensive and easy to use.
And is there a formula for that? How much bleach to how much water?
Yeah, so if it's cloudy water, you want to use 1/4 teaspoon per gallon, and if it's clear water, you want to use 1/8 teaspoon.
Okay, so just a bit. Okay, and then this is a filtration?
Yeah. So you want to have at least one personal water filter if possible. And so this is an example of a smaller version. We actually keep it in our car.
Okay.
But depending on how many people are in your family and how much water you'll need to treat, you may want to get something that's a little more robust.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's purification tablets, and there's a whole bunch of different varieties that you can use for that.
There is a lot to know, and I know you have all of this information and so much more on the website at the Regional Water Providers Consortium website, or you can always go to KATU.com. We'll have all the information there and a link. Thank you so much, Bonnie. I have learned so much today. I need to go home and get my water stored. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay, back to you.
Thank you, Carrie. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.